The Morticia beat for the modern woman. We're talking a red lip. We're talking cool toned eyeshadow from the lash line to the brow bone. We are talking drama and glamour. Hello, my name is Bronte-Marie. I'm a diploma qualified makeup artist, and it's so nice to meet you. I recently did a poll asking what you'd like to see next, and out of all the options, Morticia won 10 to 1. Now, this is a look that is inspired by the version of Morticia I grew up with, evidently. I'm not looking to replicate her look exactly, but instead take the essence of it and translate it onto my features and adapt it to my tastes. Hopefully, the look you like, you enjoy enough to sit around for the tutorial, because I'll see you in there. First things first, I have the fan on. That's the humming you're gonna hear in the background. I'm not gonna apologize for it because it's humid and hot and gross and I can't afford air conditioning. But I just figured I would let you know off the top of the bat so you can get all your complaints about it in the comment section just clear from the get-go. I'm starting the skin with the MAC Skin Finish Light Struck in Lilac Haze. This is a liquid highlighter with a little bit of a purpley flip, and I just think it lends like a really beautifully iridescent glow. Morticia is glam. I will be hearing no arguments about how much makeup I am wearing today. I'm going to use the Haus Labs foundation. I'm going to color correct it to make it work a little bit better for my complexion because, as we discussed in my undertones video, this shade pulls a little bit golden on me. And a blue color corrector will do the trick because my body is just straight up green. I think the first time I did this, I overcorrected slightly. So I'm going to start with just a little bit less and we'll see how we go. I like to mix my foundation in with my hands. Let's see. It's better. I think it could go slightly more olive, but actually I think that's very good. Okay, let's take a moment to appreciate this match, right? Whenever I post about having an olive undertone, people crawl out of the woodwork, truly, to argue with me about my own undertone. I know my own skin, and I know that I'm just a wee bit green and sallow all over. Might be something to do with the iron deficiency, who can say? I have a very stubborn dry patch out here by the corner of my mouth. I burnt the shit out of my skin using retinol like a month ago and it's still recovering. My hydrating skincare should take care of most of it, but if you do notice it, know that makeup can't hide texture, really. It can only do so much for it. We need to color correct. I'm going to use this little flower nose color correction palette from the Sweetie Bear collection. I really love this peach. That's going around the eyes. For concealer, I've been thoroughly enjoying the L'Oreal Infallible in 320 Porcelain, especially if my base is actually olive. As a requisite Huda Beauty concealer wearer, like, what's it called? It's not the Easy Bake concealer, that's the powder. Her concealer, it's like the full coverage concealer to me. I am a glam wearer. I like to wear makeup. I like to put it on. This is the best drugstore option I have found for that. It has a decent shade range in Australia that is different in other countries, of course, because we only get so much of the shade range, but it stays full coverage and it hides my under eyes, and that's really what I want from it. Under the eyes, I'm going to mix in a tiny bit of the Kosas concealer in the Kosas corrector, pardon me, in Magic, so like baby pink one. I find this just brightens up this area, neutralizes out any excess golden tones, but I find if I do that thing where I just put that on or I put it on over the top, it's too much pink and it looks a little bit jarring tonally with everything else. Take the trusty Real Technique sponge and begin to blend her out. Now, we don't want a ton of color on the cheek here. I don't think of Morticia's look as one where the blush is apparent or existent really at all, but I have to have something on my cheeks. I'm gonna reach in for Blush Please from MAC, which as you can tell is extremely well loved. This is just like a little bit of a kiss of color. And I find when we have everything else going on, when we have the silver eye and the red lip, this will kind of disappear a little bit in a graceful way. It's not going to stick out as, oh, she's wearing blush. It's just going to meld into everything else. I also would have settled for, I think it's True Harmony in the blush, in the Glow Play format. It's like a taupey tone, but I have no idea where mine is. I cleaned out my collection like a week ago and still I'm lost. I'm overwhelmed. I've not yet found a contour that's sufficiently cool toned. For me, the closest we've gotten is the Haus Labs Precision Sculpt Shaping Balm, that's a long name, in Chisel. This is pretty good. This is a decent contour for me. I can definitely use it. However, if I apply it up here in a little bit of a bronzer placement, it's going to very easily pull as bronzer as well. It does double duty for me. Spray the face with setting spray. I like the Half Magic Dew Lock. I was going to say Haus Labs again. The Half Magic Dew Lock. I use this every day since forever. I go through bottles of it. I think it works beautifully for the purpose I need it to. Spray your face down. Loose powder on a powder puff. Press the excess into your hand and then go in and set through the center of the face. Morticia can be a more matte look, I find, but I still want to work in thin layers of powder because, as previously stated, my skin is dry and generally unhappy at the moment, and if I pack a bunch of powder onto it, it's going to look bad. If you attempted to comment on my bangs, I would encourage you to reconsider your life choices. Before I go into the eyes, I want to get my brows sorted. I find that the Morticia Glam kind of relies on there being eyeshadow of some sort from here to here, and if I don't have my brows on, that makes it kind of tricky to discern where I'm placing everything. So I'm using the Made by Metro Brow Sludge box because this largely does not move once it's applied, and that's what we'll be using for my witty baby brows today. Should I thin my brows out? Don't lie to me. I mean, I do like a thin brow. I'm just wondering if they should be thinner. It's like bangs. Once you trim them short, you're just possessed to keep going shorter. And I like impulse control, so I deflect it to all of you out there. Deflecting to the internet for a decision about my own appearance could never go wrong, could it? For eyeshadow, this side of the Danessa Myricks Lightwork Volume 7 palette, the most recent one, and then I'm gonna reach for literally any cool toned grey eyeshadow palette you have. Literally any. You just need like a lighter, cool toned grey transition tone, a matte white, and that medium grey and black in there. I'll walk you through it as we go. It'll be real simple. Starting with a denser eyeshadow brush, a little bit of a blue toned medium grey, whatever that is on your complexion, and I'm gonna tap that all over the lid. This shade is going to serve as a good base for the silver shimmer I'm going to want to press in here, and it's going to be good for all the blending. I love a mid-toned shade all over the lid, especially on more hooded eyelids, because you can pull off more smoke on the eye than the average koala. Take a fluffy brush and a light cool toned grey, blend your smoky eye out. I feel like Bronte, this isn't blending. You haven't blended for long enough. You've barely even started. We're putting makeup on today, which requires a little bit of work. See, that is just 2 eyeshadows and quite a bit of blending, and we're going to do far more. I want this look to be really blown out and seamless in the long run. I want to feel like there's a haze of cool toned eyeshadow around the eye, and one can only get that effect by going back and forth a lot, reinforcing one color, blending it out, going back, blending it out even more. Taking a matte white eyeshadow, I'm just gonna tap it on the inner corner and then up onto the brow bone so I can assess how high I need to bring the gradient of the smoky eye. I'm so sorry. I'm not gonna apologize for the planes because I can't help them, but my God. I'm taking it here now so I can assess how high I have to bring this gradient to meet this one. In the Morticia look that I grew up with, there is eyeshadow from here to here, but it is in such a dramatic placement that I fear it would look very costumey on me. So my intention here is to make it more wearable and be sufficiently inspired so that you can feel like you are channeling her without feeling like you're wearing a costume. Smaller blending brush. These Glaminatrix Cosmetics brushes are amazing. I'm gonna mix a little bit of the mid-toned grey and the black together to get something a little bit dramatic. And then I'm gonna use it to start to define out the outer V. And we're beginning to get somewhere here, but the blend is still not quite blending the way I want to. So I'm using that little bit of a denser blending brush from the very start. And I'm gonna start pulling that black into the mid-toned gray. We are also getting to the point where I feel like I kind of need to smoke out the lower lash line to really assess what's going on with this eye look. So I'm going to use a little bit of the mid-toned gray, bring it down and along, because otherwise I can't really see the balance, like the overall balance of the look. Okay, I'm at a point with the gradient where I'm okay with it. I'll probably go back in and blend more with a fluffy brush once I put on shimmer, and I might go back and reinforce the black if I feel like I'm losing it a little bit, but I haven't really lost it yet with this. But I feel like we need a shimmer. I'm missing it. I'm longing for it. So let me put down literally all of my brushes. This silver, that is a sexy shadow. That is a sexy little eyeshadow. And having that mid-toned grey under it really does make it pop. Soften the edges of the shimmer placement with the fluffy brush. Tiny wee baby pencil brush, just to define the silver on the lower lash line. And remember that if you ever get any errant shimmer anywhere, my favorite trick has always just been using an eyebrow spoolie. Like, I'm just gonna go in with my eyebrow spoolie and just bring it down slightly, so you can still see the matte gradient of the grays. I think there's a time and place for shimmer in the crease, but it's often not something that I'm looking for personally. Black liner. I want a thin line along the lashes, just so that I can put a lash band down without having any obvious gappage. With the level of glam we're at, I do want to put on lashes. I do. Surprising nobody. I do think when you wear an eye look that's quite this big, not wearing lashes is like an editorial choice. I am looking for classic glam, so these are the Lash Bar pink fatty lashes. They are all I wear. I mentioned them once on this channel and they were sold out for a while, so please don't do it again. Powder contour. This is Kaleidos Pearl Bliss. It is a very obviously brown blush. I'm gonna take a kiss of it on one of these flower nose blush brushes. I just find these so flawless for diffusing powder on the skin. And I'm taking that just along the cheek. Now I did a variant of this look. I was playtesting it to see if I wanted to do a full-blown tutorial on it. And I posted a video on the Clock platform and a lot of people asked about the highlight. This beautiful pink highlight, also Kaleidos, using a lot of them. This is Space Age Gifted, and this can go really blinding really quickly, but it just feels like pure reflect. I love it. They have a bunch of these highlights with different reflex within them, so you can get a gold, a blue, anything your heart desires. I have just always thought that this pink is so special though. Now I know that the crisp red lip is kind of the Morticia look that I'm replicating, right? But I did say it's for a modern woman, and I do think that modernizing it slightly is going to help ground it, to help it feel more balanced upon the face, especially when there's so much on the eyes. So I'm not going to go in with a black liner, which I know you all fear because I've been doing that a lot lately. I'm going to use a burgundy. This is MAC Root for me. It has like a purplish undertone. I'm going to use this to outline the lip. To blend the lip liner, I'm just flipping it over and using the bottom because this is very effective. And we're going to go in with the Dior sequin lip, the holiday lip from this year that turns glittery when you press it together, in 999, which is the classic Morticia red. I just think this will ground everything a little bit. I like the drama that it adds. Let's go in with this lip though. I'm gonna go back in with the liner to finesse the edges before I do the big glittery lip smack. Now here's the big moment that my camera will almost certainly not catch because my lights aren't like direct, super bright lights, so they don't show glitter terribly well, but I will try anyway because I do like these. Did pretty well. How pretty is that? This is the finished look. I know this is going to be too much makeup for some of you, but hopefully you enjoyed the journey regardless. If you try this look, I hope you feel beautiful. I love you all so much. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you another time. Bye.